Right, today we are going to do arpeggiation. So, I've taught you all about chord structures, and I've taught you about how the chordal element is one of the 4 foundational building blocks of music. So, a triad is the most basic chord you can get, which is the root, the third, and the fifth. So, it's these 3, 1, 3, 5. When you're playing on a keyboard, I'll show you. So, if we're going to do C, that's the scale of C. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a triad. That's a chord, and I've shown you that before. So now what we're going to do is, in production and when you're arranging and you're composing music, you don't always want to play the whole chord. You might want to arpeggiate the chord. And arpeggiation means to take that 1, 3, and 5 and to break it up. Let's take a chord structure. The chords I want to play today are A minor, so that's A minor. The second chord is C major. The third chord is G major. And the fourth chord is F major. Now, if you're playing that 4-chord loop, you play it like this. With the bass. Now, that's one way to play. The first thing you can do is inversion. So inversions is when you take that 1, 3, and 5 and you switch them up a bit. So let's take the first chord, A minor. So I'm playing it straight, 1, 3, 5. Now the C major is the next chord, which should be here. With an inversion, you can drop the fifth, this one, down to there. See, it's the same chord. So now we play it like this. A minor, and then C major. And then the next chord is G major. So we play that the same way. And then F. Okay, so that is how you could use inversions to change the way you play chord structures. Now, arpeggiation is taking it one step further and breaking up the 1, 3s, and 5s. So for example, let's start with a chord. Let's start with A minor. You could, for example, one way of breaking up is like this. So all I've done is I'm playing the 3 and the 5, and then I'm playing the root. So it's going. That's one way. Another way that you could do it is you can break up the notes, for example. So you could go. So the same chords again, everything's exactly the same. The only difference is we're breaking up the notes. So we're going 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. And it changes the whole feel of those chordal structures. So you don't have to play all 3 notes at the same time. You can break them up. Now, another thing you can do is then combine arpeggiation with inversion. So let's see. We said our first chord was A minor, 1, 3, 5. So let's say the C, instead of jumping up to a C, we played the inversion. So that would be, so let's combine those two. You see that? We're now arpeggiating. Instead of going 1, 3, 5, we're going 1, 3, 5 on the A minor, and then we're going let's see here, 5, 1, 3 on the C major. So it's the same 3 notes. Instead of going 1, 3, 5, we're not going 5, 1, 3. But it's the same 3 triads that you use in that chord. And we can do that for all of them. So let's play that now like that. Okay, so that's now arpeggiation and inversion combined. Now we can take it another step further. I mean, there's millions of possible arpeggiations, because you remember that the root note A is there, but it's there as well. And then the 5 is E, and it's all over the place. So there's so many combinations that you can come up with to create arpeggiation. So let's see what I can come up with. Let's see here. So I'm going to play the A minor in this inversion. So instead of going that, I'm going to go like that. Okay, here we go. I've got an idea. We'll go to the C. So same thing, it's basically A minor, C, G major, and then F. So all I'm doing is I'm playing them in inversions. It's the same 4 chords, and then I'm arpeggiating the notes. So I'm going double, 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 double. It's the F major. It's the same 4 chords. Now this gives you a lot of power when it comes to producing music, when it comes to arranging music, and this principle applies to all instruments. So on guitar, if you're strumming a chord, you can play the whole chord, or you can pick the notes. You know, you could pick any one of those 3 notes in the 6 strings that you play on the guitar, and you can play along with the tempo of the song. Now let me play. I'm going to choose a string sound, string ensemble. Staccato. This is staccato string sound that we're going to now use playing this arpeggiated technique that I just worked out. So let's try that. You see, so that's basically the idea. I mean, I've taken a simple chord structure, broken up the notes, moved them around, created a pattern out of it, used inversions, and then I've created this arpeggiation. You can hear that sounds very familiar to you. I'm sure you've heard strings being played in that way. Guitars can be played in that way. Pianos can be played in that way. Any instrument. We can even do it on synths. So now listen to this. That all sounded very traditional. Now we're going to use the synth sound, the exact same idea. Now listen to how different it sounds. Same idea. So same idea again, played on a synthesizer. Immediately it has that kind of European dance or EDM sound that is so popular today in popular music. And this is a very, very powerful technique to use when you're composing or producing or arranging instruments, because sometimes just playing chords can be boring. You know, you want to create some kind of rhythm. That's a perfect example of taking a simple chord structure and arpeggiating it. It's something that is a lot of fun to do. You could spend hours and hours creating different combinations. You can try slow arpeggiations, you can try fast arpeggiations. I mean, let's give you an example of a slow one. Would be like okay, that's a fast one. You see, you can do that. That's an arpeggiation. Basically, I'm playing the chord with 2 fingers. So it's root 5 3, root 5 3, 5 root 3 root. could go slowly, you know. Or you could go, I mean, there's just millions of possibilities. You could go double speed. That's going down. So that's now double speed. That's another example of how to arpeggiate the exact same chords. You know, when you look at your DAW, you have thousands and thousands of sounds in there, right? And now you look at the chord structures and you look at arpeggiation, it starts to open up literally millions of possibilities, because you can take so many ways of arpeggiating. First of all, you've got thousands of sounds to choose from. Then you've got those 20, 30, 40 major chord structures to choose from. Then you've got all these different arpeggiation options to choose from. So, and it's something that you can just spend hours and hours and hours trying different sounds with different chord structures, with different arpeggiations to find beautiful combinations. And that's pretty much how most music is created today. Even on a guitar, you know, there's no real difference between what we're doing here on the computer and what a pianist does sitting behind a piano composing. There's not a huge difference between what we're doing here and what an arranger does when they compose classical music. You know, even classical music has a lot of arpeggiation in it. When you listen to a lot of classical music, you might say, you know, wow, this music is so complicated, it's got such complexity, it's so many moving parts. But a lot of the time, it's actually just simple chords that are being arpeggiated. You know, the strings are going up and down, and, you know, all the instruments are creating, just moving through the roots, the thirds, and the fifths in different combinations and different rhythms. And it sounds complicated. It gives it depth, it gives it sort of intelligence, but yet it's the same three notes. It's the same chords being played again and again and again. So this is a major fundamental part of understanding when it comes to music, when it comes to understanding production, arrangement, and composition. They all kind of work together. I'd like to ask you a question. Now that I've shown you what arpeggiation is, I would like to know, would you use arpeggiation in your music? I'd love to know what you think. Please leave a comment under this video. I want you now to start this process of composing, finding chord structures you like, starting to arpeggiate those chord structures with different sounds. And like I said, try acoustic instruments, try electronic instruments, try synthesizers, try orchestral instruments, you could do this with even vocals, do it with guitar. You can create all the styles of music that we know today in the world using these techniques. Ultimately, these are universal techniques. There's no real difference between, you know, deep folk music versus modern electronic music. They all have arpeggiated chords in them. It's just a question of what instruments are they using. Is it electronic? Is it live? Is it programmed? Is it, you know, but it's the same. Most of the time, it's even the same chords. Sometimes, okay, yes, some styles use certain kinds of chords, some styles use other chords, but still, they're always, at the end of the day, it comes down to there's some kind of arpeggiation happening. If you enjoyed this lesson and you'd like to improve your music, then check out AMP Membership, where you'll find hundreds of even more in-depth videos than this one. Go to advancedmusicproduction.com/membership. I hope you guys enjoyed that lesson, and I will see you in the next video.
Advanced Music Production.